hardest things when you're preparing for trial, it's the organization. It's making sure things don't get missed. And I want to talk about that a little bit, about what it looks like when it comes in. When they have discovery nowadays, the defendant has to purchase a hard drive. The government will notify the defense team. They'll say, okay, round 4 or whatever is coming out. They call each discovery rounds. So they'll notify the defense on the government level, on the federal level now I'm talking about federal. State, the discovery laws have changed for the better in a lot of places. I did an episode on that as well. I don't remember which one it was, but I talked about the discovery reform in New York, and that's on a very good path. They're getting things straightened out. On the federal level, they're trying to change the discovery rules and processes, but it hasn't changed as of yet. And there's several organizations leading that charge to try to have some discovery reform on the federal level. NACDL is one of them. That's the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. So they're trying to change it. But let me get back to what I was saying. So the government will notify the defense team, okay, we have round 3 of discovery coming out. And they'll tell you need to buy a hard drive, and that's another expense for the defendant. Defendant has to buy a hard drive, send it to the prosecution team. They'll load up the discovery and they'll send it back to you. Now, let me tell you, when you get that hard drive, if you're not really experienced with zip files and protected files and encrypted files, it could get very overwhelming. They send it over and you open it up. A lot of times it's hard to make heads or tails of it. Things aren't labeled. You have to go through, you have to find everything, you have to sort it, and they include a lot of bloatware on the hard drive. And let me explain that. I noticed when I was going through a lot of these hard drives and I was extracting the data and I was sorting it and organizing it based on the information, based on the defendant, based on the informant, depending on what the round of discovery was. But I noticed there was a lot of like bloatware, there was software. They include different software to help you open up some of the programs. However, it's overkill. There's a lot of bloatware that's included, a lot of files that are included that you don't need. And to the untrained eye, if the attorney may not be familiar with it, they'll open it up. They'll see all these files in there. They don't know what's what. They don't know how to launch the software that the government included. For example, there was some video footage. And on the last trial, a lot of the defendants weren't able to open the video footage because they didn't understand that the government will include a program, sometimes, not all the time. They'll include a program within the hard drive that you can install to then view the footage. So people were trying to open it, and Windows, let's just say Windows Media didn't have the codec to open it. That's really the extension of the file. Windows Media, all these different video programs, they all have these different formulas, let's say, like a codec that goes into the software that lets you play the video, okay, whether it's an MP4, whatever it may be, an AVI, a WAV, whatever the file may be, they'll give you software to allow you to play it. So people don't realize that. They may just click on it and they're like, hey, I can't open this video, I can't see it. They don't realize you got to install software to play it. It gets very confusing. And to me, all accidentally on purpose. It's made unnecessarily chaotic. So that's just where I come in with my team. We organize it and get it where it needs to be so you could go through it. But imagine opening these things, and when you have these cases with thousands and thousands of audio tapes. The last big case I was on, I have a few small ones now that my office is working on. One big one, but it may wind up being a plea, so I don't know. We're pretty much preparing everything, but we got to see how it plays out. But on a big case, a lot of these big cases where there's a lot of audio records, you'll get 80,000, 90,000 audio files, 100,000 audio files, anywhere from like 1 second of somebody picking up the phone and hanging it up to an hour, 2-hour phone conversation. Or if it's somebody wearing a wire, it could be 4 or 5 hours of them just walking around with the wire. And you have to go through all these things. So what's bothersome is they know the prosecution knows the evidence. They know everything they have. So they know the amount of volume that's in it. And when they just dump it on the defense, and on top of that, then you want to start messing with You want to include things to make the process harder. You want to make it more confusing and not systematic. It's unnecessary to me. And in this day and age, I hate to keep saying it, but there's no reason for it. Everything could be streamlined. And a defendant's life is on the line based on the information that's on these hard drives. And you have to go through it all. And you got to listen. And it takes a lot. It takes a team to go through the tapes. There could be a sentence or two that could help your defendant, and it's buried in this information. So it does get a little scary and a little overwhelming, and you really have to have a good system in place and a way to organize and a way to separate out and to identify what's important from what's nonsense. As I was saying, if you have 50,000 calls, you may have 10,000 of those calls that are like 1 or 2 seconds. So there's a lot of tricks you could do in the discovery to separate that initially. You could do a sort by duration. That's one of the tools I use. I'll open up all the audio files. I'll add the field of duration to see how long the audio is, and then I try to sort it. If it's 5 seconds or under, usually it's nonsense, so you put it in one file to look at later. Things like that. You got to kind of use common sense and a little bit of knowledge as you're going through it for the best way to attack it.